Let's talk about, first of all, Southern California situation. USC opens on Sunday. USC plays Las Vegas. UCLA opens late Saturday night. They go play Hawaii. Life after Caleb Williams for that head coach. It's going to be very interesting to see what Trojan football will be like with a sixth-year starter in Miller Moss, the kid that threw 6 touchdown passes in his lone start in the Holiday Bowl after Caleb Williams had opted out. He's got a tremendous wide receiver in Zachariah Branch. They think they're really deep at wide receiver with some young pups that haven't really played. They got what I tend to think might be the best defensive tackle in all of college football. His name is Bear Alexander. Had to do a lot of it by himself the last year and a half. Now he's got transfers and people around him, including a big fellow defensive tackle who came in from Wyoming. They've got 9 transfers on the Trojan defense as Lincoln Riley's trying to fix what has been wrong for 2 years in a row. But this schedule, holy cow, John, this schedule is so rugged. They open with Brian Kelly and LSU. Then, over the first 4 weeks of the season, not only do they play the Bayou Bengals of LSU, they play Michigan and they play Wisconsin, all that in the first 4 weeks. So they're going to have to hit the floor running. However, his playbook last year, 466 yards per game on offense. However, his defense gave up 432. But of all the recruits he brought in, maybe the most important is Danton Lynn, the defensive coordinator who came from UCLA. So that's the storyline with the Trojans. Crosstown, UCLA plays Hawaii in Honolulu, non-conference game to start their schedule, and then they move into the teeth of the schedule just like that, and it's really going to be hard. I'm not sure that DeShaun Foster, the incoming head coach, is the biggest acquisition they made. Maybe the biggest acquisition is Eric Bieniemy, who came from the NFL after all those years as a play caller and a coordinator, Kansas City, and with the Washington Commanders. Eric Bieniemy will be under the glare of the spotlight to make this thing better. There is no Chip Kelly. That era of error is over. Ethan Garbers, journeyman, spotted a little bit last year, played competitive. He's going to be the guy. He's going to have to be the guy because everybody else is really young. J. Michael Sturdivant, big-time receiver. Now, got to catch more than 35 passes, if I'm going to use the word big time. I mean, he's got to be a 50 to 70 reception guy, but he's been in the program at 6'4". He's about ready. I like their running game. I think T.J. Harden, Keegan Jones, pretty doggone good. And they return a pile of guys defensively. But that being said, LSU, Oregon, Penn State, 3 weeks in a row. Starting next week, their season could be over. So, John Riley, I've given you the thumbnail scouting report on USC Trojans, UCLA Bruins, and it's your turn to tell everybody on live stream what you like, what concerns you the most about Lincoln Riley's team and DeShaun Foster's crew.
Well, I'm still trying to learn all the names and faces as they get this thing together. The thing that I think about the most, though, is about Eric Bieniemy. Because he was in the NFL working with Andy Reid, then he goes to Washington. He was an offensive coordinator. Everyone thought he had the ability to be the next big-time NFL coach. It seems like he's taken a step down. And if UCLA really performs poorly, is Eric Bieniemy going to be getting the blame and suddenly his career is down the toilet?
Either that or maybe somebody wakes up and says, maybe we made a mistake on DeShaun Foster. You know, coming out of the gate, Foster didn't do very well in his public press conferences, and it was really an embarrassment at the Big Ten Media Day where he just couldn't answer questions and he, quote, froze up. And he's never been a coordinator, much less a head coach anywhere, so there's a volume of questions about him. However, Bieniemy has coached under the really great one in Andy Reid. Bieniemy got a lot of credit for how hard he coaches players, especially young players. And I think he's coached UCLA, which, by the way, has closed a lot of its practices. Has not gotten a lot of preseason pub, which I think is wrong. I think you need to expose a new coach and the new coordinator to the fans and the alums, et cetera, and they've kind of locked this thing off. I've counted 2 UCLA football stories in the LA Times in about the last 15 days. I don't think that's the way to conduct business. But that being said, I think Bieniemy carries a lot of credibility, and I don't know if they have enough players but we'll find out starting week 2, 3, and 4, because that's just vicious who they have to play out of the gate.
Well, life is good when Southern California football is good.
Exactly.
And now they're going to the Big Ten, and they're going to probably get their butts kicked around. I mean, I think if USC could finish in the top 3 of the Big Ten, that would be a huge success.
Wait a minute. They were picked to finish 15th out of 18 teams, John Riley.
USC?
Oh, no, UCLA.
Yeah, UCLA is definitely bottom half. If USC and Lincoln Riley can finish in the top 3, I would say that's a great accomplishment year one.
He put together a jigsaw puzzle roster last year with so many transfers around Caleb Williams, and they did pretty well till they had injuries and they fell apart at the end defensively. He's got another box of jigsaw puzzles he's going to put around Miller Moss. He knows talent. He's gotten talent to come there. Schedule's rugged out of the gate for them, just like it is for UCLA. So fascinated to see what happens. Now, I will say this, as they play LSU on the weekend, on Sunday in Vegas. It's not in Baton Rouge, it's in Vegas. LSU does not have Jaden Daniels.
Right.
So LSU is going with a sixth-year quarterback, too, and a bunch of young players, because a lot of Brian Kelly's good guys went to the National Football League. A few of them actually drifted into the transfer portal. So we're starting SC UCLA. You're a Trojan fan, you're a Bruins fan. Hey, we must have somebody from Los Angeles that is part of our podcast. Jump on board. Join us in the Fans Forum chat box. Give us your thoughts on right head coach at UCLA, wrong head coach, Lincoln Riley, disappointment or success 2 years into the mission at Heritage Hall. Feel free to jump on board. We go from that